Minasan, this is Blue Flame Entertainment bringing you my top 5 favorite cases from Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney turns 15 this year, and as such, we get a 6th installment in the main series. The series has stayed so long because of its lovable cast, amazing cases, the twists and turns it brings, and the lovely antagonists who, quite honestly, you want to strangle sometimes. The outrageous witnesses, the lovely contradictions that you must find, and then there's the prosecutors, the people who just make your life a pain to do. All of these combine together to create a giant, wonderful puzzle of a game that is Ace Attorney. Each game brings something new to the table, including the spin-off games of The Great Ace Attorney Investigations, and Professor Layton vs. Ace Attorney. In the end, our goal is to find the truth, and as such, we're going to name my top 5 favorite cases that found the truth. Now, there is only one rule I put before myself when I made this list, and that was I could only choose one case per game to talk about. That doesn't really limit my options too much, but let's say it did kick some cases out of being on this list. Other than that, be warned, there are going to be spoilers because, A, while the first game is 15 years old, every other game is not 15 years old, and a lot of these are going to be final cases and a bit of the awkward DLC episode. But anyway, we're ready to get started. Let's hit the road and find ourselves the top 5 Ace Attorney cases. That's right, number 5 on the list is Turnabout Ablaze, the final episode in Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. Oh my goodness, this was a accumulation of everything that Investigations had built up, and it did it in a wonderful way. We start off at an embassy of 2 countries that used to be 1 country, and we try to figure out what exactly is going on with the Yatakarasu. Overall, this episode was a doozy. Not only is it really long, but it also probably has one of my least favorite antagonists as the final boss, basically. I really love the twists and turns that the story took, how every character who had been introduced in the game sort of came together to complete the story. Overall, I liked it because of its story as well as all the other elements of the case. The case itself is extremely interesting, but I don't want to give too much away to you guys, so that's all there was to it. That's right, number 4 on the list is Turnabout Succession from Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. This is the final case in Apollo Justice, and it's a bit of a different kind of case. Not only is this the introduction of the jurist system, and the only time we ever have a jurist system, which means you can get a bad ending in this, but we also get a connection between the past and the present, something which I really liked how they shook up the formula with it. In the past, you play as Phoenix Wright, playing the case that got him to lose his badge. And in the present, you are playing as Apollo, who is trying to solve a case that is the first case of the jurist system. The Manson system is what you use to connect these two, jumping between timelines to get certain bits and pieces of information that connect the story together. Overall, I really enjoyed it because it concluded the entirety of the game. Everything felt like a build-up to this point, even if you didn't realize it was a build-up to this point. Plus, we finally realized the motivations for somebody doing what somebody did. Also, a bunch of other secrets are revealed in this episode, and it was, quite honestly, a roller coaster I don't mind going on again and again. That's right, number 3 is Rise from the Ashes from the original Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. This was the bonus episode that was contained with the DS version of the game, and serves as sort of a connecting point between the original game and Justice for All. Quite honestly, I can't imagine Justice for All happening without Rise from the Ashes. It makes light of a lot of the reasons why I could understand Miles making the decision he does. At the same time, this story introduces us to Emma Skye, our favorite forensic scientist, who makes a lot more cameo appearances, especially in investigations later on. This episode had a lot of twists and turns, and I really enjoyed exactly how it went about with its twists and turns. It also introduced many aspects that we get in Apollo Justice, including being able to fully examine an object and fingerprinting and luminol testing. This was really an enjoyable episode, and I really could not accept how hard it was to beat our antagonist in this episode. As it stands, I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm actually upset that the anime didn't animate it, but overall, this episode really needs to be played before you ever go into Justice for All. That's right, number 2 is the Inherited Turnabout. Much like Turnabout Succession, this Turnabout combined the past and the present to create an interwoven story. For our past, we present you Gregory Edgeworth. That's right, the father of Miles Edgeworth while he was alive and well during his last case. This was extremely fun to play as Gregory, as Gregory shares a lot of things similar with Miles, but at the same time seems much more like a down-to-earth detective type. While at the same time, 18 years later, you're playing as Miles, trying to solve his father's case from all those years ago. Overall, I love this story because of how it put itself together, the twists and turns, and overall, the connection between the two cases. While Turnabout Succession does the exact same thing, I feel it was done better here in the Inherited Turnabout because it didn't feel like I had to play bits and pieces of the past in order to make a clear picture. It was more a flowing storyline, and overall, I enjoyed it a lot. There's a lot of character development, plus it's one of the few times you actually get to see a lot more of Gregory Edgeworth. At the same time, it gives light to many of the other instances in Ace Attorney, and as for why Von Karma got that lovely strike on his record. Overall, I would play this game any day of the week, no matter what, because of what it gave me. And I would suggest that you should go ahead and play this episode too. Alright everyone, massive spoiler alert here with our number 1, and that is Turnabout Time Traveler. This case is the bonus DLC case for Spirit of Justice, and overall, I really love this case. For a lot of reasons that I'll explain later. For one, just look at that steampunk-esque look, but here is the skit that Japan gave us introducing this case, and it should pretty much explain why I love it.
久しぶりだな。やはり。なるほどくん、なんか絵が新しくなってるよ。
まさか特別編で結婚する人物とは。
あ、俺のことだぜ。
では手紙で私たちを呼び出したのも
俺だったってわけ。M はやはりまさしの M だ。
So, if it's not obvious by the visuals alone for this episode, I really love this episode for the nostalgia trip it gave me. Not only is Miles Edgeworth once again the prosecutor for this case, but Maya returns as our assistant and, without getting into too much detail, Larry is involved in the case. I also loved the characterization and development of all the characters involved in this case, and this case probably has one of my favorite endings for an Ace Attorney case. It was very much a touching ending, and also anytime that there's an episode that deals with any sort of time travel-esque themes, it catches my attention and it made me keep playing it. I've played this case probably 3 times in my Japanese version of the game, and I cannot wait to actually play this in English. Thank Thank you all for joining me for my top 5 favorite Ace Attorney cases, and thank you all for supporting Ace Attorney Month on my channel. I've been playing Ace Attorney games non-stop since the release of Spirit of Justice, and I'm glad I've been able to do that. It's literally a game series that I love to play, and I'm glad that you guys are happy that you're seeing all this Ace Attorney content. Thank you all once again, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye, everyone.